At the end of 2005, Craig Story and I met with a small group of people up at the Summit Church, and we began to dream about planting a church that would reach the now first generations born and raised in a post-Christian America. And God has blessed us immensely. In the fall of 2006, we had our first gathering at Youth Middle School and had 183 people in attendance, and God began to work as we began to invest in our community and pour into the hearts and lives of people. Our dream before we even had that first gathering was to invest into the community, and we began to partner with the local schools and educators. We partnered with social workers. We partnered with the law enforcement community for the purpose of building relationships so we could share the message of Jesus Christ. And God has blessed us immensely. In January 2010, we moved our Sunday gatherings down to Walnut Grove High School, and we simply continued our vision and mission to share Jesus with people and to lead people to follow Jesus and make disciples. We had a vision even before we started to plant a second campus in Social Circle. And in January of 2012, we sent our campus pastor, Nathan Boyd, with a small group of people to launch Sunday gatherings at Social Circle Middle School. In March of 2012, we launched our third campus when we partnered with Pat and Joy Harden to launch Fellowship of the Grove in Oradea, Romania. God has continued to bless us. We've seen over 150 people be baptized. We've been a part of planting 15 churches in the Atlanta area, around the country, and globally. And we've been able to establish global partnerships in places like Romania, Africa, the Middle East, Pakistan, China, and now we're having partnerships established in Haiti and Honduras. I had one of my mentors share with me, when your memories exceed your dreams, your soul begins to die. And I love celebrating what God has done at Church at the Grove as we look back. But more importantly, I'm excited about what God has in store for Church at the Grove in the future. And so now we begin to share with you the vision of our Exponential campaign. And God will accelerate His work in multiplying the gospel through your life, through my life, and through the life of Church at the Grove. And so we move forward. I want you to continue to join me as we walk down this Walnut Grove Parkway and dream about what God has in store for Church at the Grove. We exist to lead people to follow Jesus and to make disciples. And we feel this is a critical point in history, especially in our country, where really 85% and above people are not attending church on any given Sunday. Over the course of the life of Church at the Grove, I've asked you to continue to pray, to continue to invest, and to continue to invite people from your family, people from your workplace, people from school, people that you meet out in the community, people out on the ball field, people in the dance studio. Wherever you do life, it's a place for you to pray, to invest, and to invite people. And so Church at the Grove has seen God do some amazing things, but I want you to imagine something. I want you to imagine a place right over here on this piece of property in Walnut Grove where you could invite those people to come to worship Jesus Christ, to hear the gospel, and to get involved in the mission that God's called us all to take part in. I want you to imagine a place right over here that would not just be a building, but be a hub of ministry operation to help us reach more people with the gospel of Jesus Christ. We said that this Exponential campaign is about three things. It's about investing more into our community, it's about planting more churches, and it's about reaching more people globally with the gospel of Jesus Christ. A place where we would host educators, a place where we would host community events, a place where we would be able to invest into the law enforcement community, a place where you would invite your friends to worship and to celebrate and to hear the message and the love of Jesus Christ. I want you to imagine a place where your children and your children's children for years to come would be able to fulfill the mission that God's called us here at Church at the Grove. I want you to imagine a place where we could host church planners, and where we could start a church planning school, and where we could invest in training and equipping and sending out more planners and more people to establish campuses and to establish more church plants. I want you to imagine a place right over here where we could host people like Pat and Joy Harden, where we could host people like Magdi Basili, and the people that God's called to send out to Haiti and Honduras and Ethiopia and places like Pakistan and China, where we could equip people for the mission field. I want you to imagine a hub of operation where we could do those three things: invest more in our community, plant more churches, and reach more people.
I started coming to the Grove just at a time in my life where I just felt like it was time to strike out on my own, to start going to my own church away kind of from what my parents had traditionally grown up in. And I was actually a student in CLC in Loganville in Caitlin's class, and I knew that's kind of where they went, and I had a few friends that went there too. So that was just the first place I started when I started looking for churches. So it was the first doors I went through, and kind of didn't go anywhere else after.
We walked in the door and it was just like walking into just a place filled with friends, you know, some that we had met before and some that we had not met before, but it just felt like home. It was very comfortable and welcoming. You know, none of the stigmatism of churches where you feel like you don't fit in, or, you know, just none of the discomforts of visiting. And that was it. We were sold, and especially for Keith. You know, Keith walked in, and it was a real big deal for me, for him to find a place that he wanted to go, that he could plug in and feel a part of.
What do you think is maybe one or two things that God specifically used in your life to help you grow after you came to Church of the Grove?
In the beginning, it was just the care that people showed us. The love, the true concern about how we were doing, just getting through that time. And then the more we came, we started understanding, personally for me, that was when I truly accepted Jesus in my life. And with His grace and His love, and the Church of the Grove, your recommendations to get involved in community groups and start sharing, which we did, was one of the most phenomenal things that ever happened to us. We started to talk to people on a one-to-one. They started understanding us, understanding our past, and it was just like we had another family.
I think God used it in our personal life to grow us both spiritually and relationally. You know, from the small things of, you know, hosting and going to community groups, to getting involved in a setup team and a breakdown team, for Joanna being involved in the kids ministry. It's some things that's really allowed us to develop friendships that I think will last, hopefully, a lifetime. Church of the Grove's been huge in our marriage, you know, with its time and prayers. Just as in all marriages, we all have, you know, hard times, and it was awesome and great to have people there that could love on you and help you through. You know, the other main thing is finally understanding what it is to be that we are the church, because it's a thing that when I was younger, I just went to a church, and church was on Sunday. You get up, you get dressed, you go to church, and then when you leave church, church is over until you go back the next Sunday. And it's an atmosphere that's built that you understand that, you know, being outside and being in the community and being the church, and instead of just going to church.
Tell me the importance of the mission and the vision of Church at the Grove.
I think the mission is to reach those that, in my case, you know, that I'm just going through some hard times with marriage, or just being a mom, no matter how many kids you have, you know, just being there for them and encouraging them and pointing them in the right direction and the resources to help them to manage, to get through, to make it.
I am a busy lady with kids, and so for me to have an avenue as a corporate thing with our church to do things like Shop with a Hero, or festivals and social circle, or whether it be just handing out waters for a race that we're helping kind of support in social circle, or in Walnut Grove, just to be able to do something corporately together with my whole family matters to me. I like the opportunities that we get to do things like that. I mean, I feel like, especially Shop with a Hero, we love that. My kids and I, we just absolutely love doing that.
You mentioned you were real excited about our vision for our reaching more people through our partnerships around the world. Maybe expand on that, about what you said about the different places.
Well, I'll never forget, I told you one day that my heart is for missions, and that you told me that that's interesting because we want to have either a church plant or a partnership with a church on every single continent of the world. And that's really cool. Just with missions being so dear, close and dear to my heart, that is something that I can really help with, and I'd love to see and back myself, and by either helping or providing finances for it. I'm very excited to see our reach going across the world instead of just across the state.
I feel like by planting these other churches, we are reaching the world, so to speak, and not just staying in the one little area and doing our little part and serving just this community. And I feel like, as a whole, it's going to invest in our children, it's going to invest in our teenagers and our future, and that they're going to have the same vision, and it's just going to keep multiplying and explode. And I'm hoping that eventually we'll be known everywhere. I think that would be really awesome to have that, and just people know Church at the Grove, no matter where they're at.
Now, what makes you personally want to invest in the future of Church of the Grove?
I know 100% of what I do is genuine. I know the church is genuine, and the fellowship, the men. It's just a unique kind of thing, and I want to do all I can do and then some, just to see it grow, just for the Lord.
Having teenagers, it's really great to have leadership at Walnut Grove that they have grown up with, leadership that has taken them under their wing, they've just grown by leaps and bounds, friendship-wise and spiritually. So I'm grateful for youth ministry at Walnut Grove, just to be at the beginning stages of something that means a lot and is dear to our heart, just rubbing elbows with friends and digging in a community that's just a really good place, and just being able to get in at the bare beginnings has been great for us.
Knowing what our purpose is at Church of the Grove, reaching people with the gospel of Christ, and making them, stewards of God's Word, making them be, just where they can understand that it's not about sitting around, but it's being discipled, and at the same token turn around and sharing that love of Christ with others. And then they can, when people see the videos that we show, when we see Pat and Joy halfway around the world where people being baptized, in that cold river right next to their apartment, that's what it's about. That's why we invest in Church in the Grove. That's why it's so critical that we do what we do, that we have to have this hub of ministry here so we can reach people, that we can love on people, we can train people, send them out to reach, be people around the world where they can experience the love of Jesus Christ.
Hey there, Church at the Grove. My name is Josh Howarth, and I'm a church planter and pastor out in Corvallis, Oregon.
Hey guys, my name is Chip Wheeler. I'm the pastor here at River Hills Church in Winder, Georgia.
My name is Mike Lynch. I'm the pastor at North Star Church in Kennesaw, Georgia.
I'm Will Goodwin, the lead pastor at Oakleaf Church in Canton, Georgia.
I'm so thankful for Church at the Grove and just the investment that they have made in Riverbend Community Church. We're here in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
You guys have been supporting the church that I now pastor for a couple years. And your support, your prayer, your encouragement, your gifts have helped us fulfill the calling that God has called us.
When we started our church 6 years ago, Church of the Grove was the very first church to come on board with us and say, hey, we believe in what you're doing and we want to financially support you guys.
And I just wanted to take a moment and express our gratitude out here for what you guys have meant to us, and we're just really excited about your future as a church and your investment in church planting.
I'm so excited about what God is doing at Church at the Grove, just your heartbeat to make more disciples who make more disciples, to help people come and encounter Jesus Christ.
And I know right now that you guys are praying through your next big steps, big, bold moves. And my prayer is that you will continue to be a blessing to other organizations, to other churches in your community, surrounding communities like where we are, and even around the globe.
I know today you stand on one side of the river from where God eventually wants you to be. And I know there's things standing in between where you are now and where ultimately Church at the Grove is going to end up.
I want to encourage your church to take this massive step of faith in moving to a new location. I know it's scary, I know it's hard, but you have the guys you have the right leader in Russ and in Nathan.
I just know for me personally, I want to get to the end of my life and hear God say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." And I know that's what God wants to say to you and wants to say to me as well. But the question is, will we invest in something greater than ourselves in order for that to be experienced? And this is one of the ways that we can ensure that happens.
When you step out on faith and when you do things that seem impossible, that's when God shows up the most. So my prayer for you during this season, during this amazing season that you're in as a church, that you'll grab God by the hand. You won't trust just what you know. You'll trust what He knows.
I'm so grateful to be a part of what you guys have done. I'm so grateful to call you friends, and I'm looking forward to hearing the stories about what Church at the Grove has done to help advance the gospel and the kingdom of God for years to come.
It's not just about having a building or just having land. It's so much more than that. It's a big vision, a big picture, and I'm very excited because I know God's going to use it in a great way, and I know He's already using you, but I'm excited about the future.
I look forward to hearing the stories that come from your investment in mentoring in other church planters and in investing in other churches.
So I'm praying for you, I appreciate you, and I'm excited to see what God is going to do through you.
So grab onto God's hand, move in and press into Him. And if you press in and you fill up and you give out of that relationship to Him, incredible things are in store for you. Can't wait to see it, and I can't wait to meet you guys one day.
Our Exponential campaign is about accelerating our multiplication so we can invest more, plant more, and reach more. God has allowed us an opportunity to acquire 20 acres right here in Walnut Grove in the heart of our mission area. We've contracted for this 20 acres. We've paid for part of it, but there's a $260,000 balance on this land. So our first goal of the Exponential campaign is to pay off this 20-acre tract of land. The second goal is for us to set aside money for the future of building our hub of operation right here that will continue to allow us to invest more in our community, plant more churches, and reach more people through our global partnerships. I'm asking you to pray, and I'm asking your family to consider your role and how you will invest to see God's mission and God's vision for Church at the Grove become a reality. So please consider what your role is and pray that God would provide richly for the vision and the mission that He's given us at Church at the Grove.
God has called us as a church to do something that's beyond ourselves, something that's bigger than just us going through our daily routine. And I'm so excited about where God has us in the future that's in store for us as a church. But it's going to take all of us coming together and being unified as one body and as one church to accomplish the mission that God has given us. And I think so often Satan, the enemy, wants to come in and he wants to distract us and he wants us to kind of go off in other directions. But if we're truly going to accomplish the mission that God has entrusted to us, then we've got to press on, we've got to press forward, we've got to commit our lives, our finances, our time, our energy, everything that we have into accomplishing what He has in store for us. And so my prayer for our church, for Walnut Grove and for Social Circle, is that we would be a church that's not only unified, but that we're committed with everything that we have to following and living out the plan and the mission that God has in store for us.